Today we're building a brand new stadium district beside the high-speed station. Sunny Isle has changed quickly. The metro now reaches further across the island, high-speed trains now stop here, and with the airport due to be built soon, the city's starting to feel much larger than it did a few episodes ago. So rather than leaving the new station surrounded by empty land, we're going to give it a proper district. There'll be a sports venue, commercial streets, hotels, offices, and some mixed-use development to help the area feel active beyond match day. We'll also return to the previous build and make a few changes based on your feedback. Welcome back to Sunny Isle. This episode is brought to you by Manta Sleep. I spend a lot of time making Sunny Isle feel calm, considered, and well put together, which is slightly ironic because my own sleep has not always been quite so well planned, especially in summer when the mornings get bright really early and the nights are warmer, and it's just hard to fully switch off. And that's where Manta Sleep comes in. Their sleep masks are designed to block out 100% of the light, so whether you're trying to sleep through early summer mornings, street lights, or the glow from a screen you definitely should have turned off earlier, it helps to create a proper blackout environment. I've been using Manta Sound Sleep Mask, which also has built-in Bluetooth audio. The speakers sit comfortably around your ears so you can listen to something calm, block out background noise, and actually settle down for a proper night's sleep. The eye cups are really comfortable too. They sit around your eyes rather than pressing directly on them, which makes a big difference if you don't like that tight, compressed feeling you get with some other sleep masks. It's also adjustable so you can get the right fit just for you. And after using it myself, I can honestly say I'm a huge fan. Mrs. Sunny Scunny has actually been using Manta Sleep products for around 5 years, so they were already well approved in our house before they ever sponsored the channel. That makes this a much easier recommendation. Use the link in the description or use code SUNNY10 for 10% off. Thanks to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this episode. Now, back to Sunny Isle, where unlike me, the city probably still isn't getting enough sleep. The current high-speed station and the surrounding land do not yet feel like a major arrival point. The station area is undeveloped, so what I'd like to do is replace the high-speed station with a more modern asset and connect it to the local station with a sky bridge. That should allow people to transfer from regional trains to local trains much easier. And then beyond that, I want to build a contemporary mid-rise football district. It will become an important gateway into the city, with the rail interchange, the football ground, mixed-use blocks and sustainable living, a public space for everybody to enjoy. And plenty of you had a lot to say about this asset. Yes, it's not the most modern looking, and I have had a few issues with it, so I'm looking forward to swapping this out with something much better suited for the area. The asset that I'm going to use is the Mediopadana Avenue station, which is a beautiful looking asset. However, we've got one glaring issue, is that it is a little bit bigger than what we've got here. So there's going to be a significant shuffle of what we've got going around the station to place this in. Let's select the new asset and plop this in. You can see it's a lot wider, so we're going to have to shuffle a lot of the bits and pieces around here. Let's see if we can pick everything up and make our lives a little bit easier. Maybe not. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all the items that we don't need and rebuild this section from scratch. Shouldn't take too long because we know what we're doing, but we do need to make some significant changes, reducing the size of the pedestrian areas, especially at the front and at the back. Let's first upgrade this road using the lane, and then we'll come through with the regular road and upgrade it, and it just moves it over by one tile. And that looks like a pretty cozy fit, so let's place that down and start the cleanup. Hash Flow 101 came up with this idea of ensuring that all the platforms can be used. So what we'll do is we'll delete the line just to make our lives a little bit easier. We'll select the first platform and then we'll connect that to our outside connection. We'll bring it back and then we'll select one of the other platforms, and then we'll repeat that process until all the platforms are selected, and then click on the last platform to complete the loop. And then in that way, all the platforms are used and it looks like a much more busier train station than it actually is. And for this line, we're going to use the 12-car carriage. It's super long and it looks incredible going through the sunny Isle landscape. The question is, will it fit into this station? Yes, it does. Fantastic stuff. Over by the front of the station, I thought we'd give this office building an upgrade, and I'm using this beautiful looking signature building from the Supply Chains DLC. It doesn't quite fit the colour scheme of the area, so let's jump into the recolor options and make this look a little bit more fun, shall we? And at the back, I'm going to sneak in a little bit of underground parking. At the other end of the station, I wasn't too happy having it open-ended and seeing the trains almost flying off the track. So I'm trying out a few buildings to see if we can cap it off, make it look more like a complete unit. These office buildings from the China pack look quite good. So I think we'll just keep this simple and just duplicate this across the front of the way here. Over by the plaza at the back of the station, we had so many comments about extending this sky bridge directly into the train station, and I thought that was a fantastic idea. So let's go ahead and upgrade this, and I am actually going to use these concrete piers. I think they look a little bit nicer. And with the power of editing, the change is complete. And what was probably just a couple of minutes for you guys was several hours in the making. Not only was I trying to be cheeky and use Move It to move everything further into the hillside so that we could actually fit this new station asset. And what I was able to do is kind of squish that in here. I used Better Bulldozer and went into the sub-elements of the building and deleted everything I could. And then I had to wait to see if the asset still functioned, because sometimes when you make those edits using Better Bulldozer, you can destroy access points for pedestrians, for service vehicles. But I've been letting this run for a while now, and I've not seen any pop-ups, especially for garbage. And if we have a look in here, we've got good usage. Let's have a look. We've got around about 78 passengers waiting, and we've got vehicles coming and going, and I think it fits really nicely. I had to squish up this park a little bit, moved it over by one tile, so you can see that this pathway connecting up to the tram stop is a little bit thinner than before, but I think that's a good compromise. And we've also got this really fantastic looking building, and I think that works really well here as a key asset as you come into the city. It's very unique. And then at the back, I've just got, I think, a little residential property at the back here from the China pack. Cute little thing, kind of fits there on that little lot. Probably a little bit noisy with all the trains going by, but it works out. And then we've got the road, it kind of wraps around here. Managed to preserve that plaza. Most of these buildings are pretty much as they were. Again, I did have to shuffle this over a little bit, and this plaza had to be completely reworked because we lost a lot of space on this side. But we did manage to get in that sky bridge, which was recommended by many of you, and I think it looks really nice. I just want to move that tree. Perfect. Yes, we've got this sky bridge, so it now directly connects into the station. It did look a little bit funky, so I've got one of those prop roofs just to cover up the entrance to make it look a little bit more natural. And we've got it connecting straight up to the station up here. And I removed the retaining wall so that the path wasn't completely blocked by a fence. So thank you so much for making those suggestions. And I think this plaza turned out really nice as well. We've got this cool little bull prop, which I think is by Rizra. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so I highly recommend picking this asset up. So pretty chuffed with the way that turns out. Let's move on to the next part of the project. Okay, so before we build our new stadium district, we need to prepare the site. And through here, we've got a bunch of farms which have been here since the early days of Sunny Isle. And if you have a look at some of these guys are so rich. They've got around about $500,000 in the bank. They've got $250,000. Again, they've got around about $500,000. And so I don't want to go ahead and just delete these farms and not have them exist in the city anymore. These are valuable businesses which deserve to stay in Sunny Isle. They're top employers. They're providing lots of tax revenue. So instead, what we'll do is develop a new farmland area in the distant part of the island where these can exist and continue to grow and be profitable, and then open up some of this land over by our university town, Bedford Junction, and Clipstrand in the distance. We've got the inner flatlands, and this whole area I think is prime for some major farming. And so let's go into our tiles and let's purchase some of these through here. I think we can actually just go and get all of these. We've got lots of money in the bank, so we won't have any issues there. And before we start any new farms, I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to build the farms, and then I'm going to delete the old ones, and hopefully some of the businesses from the deleted farms will relocate here. Let's find out if that actually works. Next, I'm going to fill in all the gaps with trees. I'm doing this super quickly, super rough. I'm also going to place a couple of these small gravel parking lots around the area. That'll do. Like I said, super rough. Doesn't look good, but it doesn't look bad either. I think it kind of fills that little area quite nicely. They're also called cheap and random, and then they're called consumer apparel. So let's go ahead and delete these. And then we'll go over to the new farming area and see if these businesses turn up. There's one here, consumer apparel, with the bank balance of 469,000. So that's one of them. There's the other, cheap and random. And then there's the last one, cotton order. So it looks like if you want to move your profitable farms from one side of the map to the other, it actually works. Okay, back to a bank side, and then we can start to upgrade this area. I want to remove a bunch of these existing roads. I think we're going to create a completely new layout through here. We'll keep this central road through here, but I think it's time to urbanize it. And I think for now, we'll simply just go for this 4-lane divided road with a median in the middle. And it's already partly a 4-way road, so it only makes sense just to add a little bit more capacity. I'm going to leave the bridge section for now, We can have a closer look at that later, maybe have a look at creating something a little bit nicer. I'm also going to upgrade the road in front of the central station up to the roundabout, continuing that 4-lane avenue with a median, and that just provides a bit more pedestrian access, especially for those people working in the office up here. They can now come out of the station, walk along the side of the road and get to their place of work without having to worry about getting hit by a car. Okay, next I want to place down this Renaissance Hotel, which I downloaded from PDX Mods. This is a odd-shaped building, kind of like a corner piece. And I'm thinking if we can align this to this new road that we've just placed down, we might be able to bring a road out from that main junction in front of the train station and have it come alongside this hotel here. Now we are going to have to remove some of these sub-elements. So let's just have this connect to the side of the building about there. And then we'll bring that across. I think we need to just move it over just a little bit. And I'm using the 4-lane road with a divider. And the main reason I want to use that is so that we can go into our public transit tools and then find the tram. And I want to upgrade the tram track so that we don't have 4 lanes of traffic on this road itself, but it gets reduced down to 2. But I can't see the tram track anywhere. Oh, there it is. I found it. So yeah, if we upgrade that, you can see that it downgrades the road to only have a single lane of traffic in each direction. And we can upgrade it with a median in the middle so that we don't even have any car parking. And that looks pretty good. We did have to remove quite a few of the props, so we'll have to come back through and detail it a little bit shortly. But as a corner piece, I think that looks pretty interesting as you come into this area. It's better than just having some sort of cobbled together mishmash of buildings that don't quite work. Now, I've just noticed that we've got some parking down here. Now, we could actually just use the highway road that we had here originally. We only need the pedestrian path to go up there. And then I think that should be good. And I'll leave the lights on. There might be some people that want to cross the road and get into these office buildings and might find it a little bit easier if they can stop the traffic. Okay, let's have a look at the stadium we're using. The asset that I'd like to use in Sunny Isle is based on the Farmland Stadium in Tampere, Finland. We can see here on Google Maps that it hasn't quite yet been built, but we can see the vicinity. It's an urban place. There's a lot of people nearby. You've got parks, you've got churches, you've got the central station here, you've got a beautiful little market square down there. And I think this is a great option for Sunny Isle because this part of the city is going to become more dense as the population grows, and we can take advantage of the fact that this asset has been created to be mixed use. It's both a commercial asset and residential, and I think it's going to be a great fit for Sunny Isle. And this stadium is in our signature buildings underneath mixed use. We can have a closer look here. In reality, this has been completed. It was built in spring 2024. It's Tampere's first hybrid football arena. It's only a little building compared to some of the arenas and stadiums you can get on PDX Mods, but I think for the size of Sunny Isle, this will fit perfectly. And we're going to have this aligned along the edge of the train track around about here. If we have a look at the contour lines, we can see that there's a raised bank along the train track here. So we've got to be careful not to push too far into that. And I think I would like a road to run alongside it. And this is going to be an interesting spot to live because you've got views of the river, which I think will be really nice. You've even got views of the city in the distance. However, people living on the other side of the building, it might not be as attractive. I guess you've got the hills, you've got the high-speed train, and this roundabout is kind of shielded with some trees, so it's not too bad. And if we get a little bit more development through here, the most you'll see is maybe some streetscape. But what I love about this asset, if we click on this, it actually has an upgrade. It allows you to add even more residential properties within the building, and you can see that it increases the height of these little apartment blocks left and right, which I think is fantastic. So this is classed as medium density, and you can see our medium density has taken a big hit. A lot of people can live here, but this is recovering now. This will go back to 100% once this is fully filled with people. We can have a look at how many households it can take. 160 with 351 residents. Fantastic. Okay, so with that in place now and looking absolutely fabulous, I don't think we need to adjust it color-wise. I really like the way this looks, but we need to be conscious of where the entrance is. We've got the ticket entrance on this side. I think this side has something similar. Yes, you've got some tickets. So it was good that we left a little bit of space, because I do want a road to go on both sides of this asset. Now, I don't want to put car parking around this. This is designed to be a mixed-use, sustainable neighbourhood. So I'm more than likely going to use underground car parking, or maybe have car parking further away from the central core. People can get around easily using public transport, so I don't want to prioritize cars where I don't have to. Okay, that's working really, really well. We've got no traffic backed up at all anymore. And I think over here, I want to develop it into more of a commercial center. It's either going to be commercial or office, because you've got train tracks on both sides. You've got this really busy train station. It's a really good opportunity for a business to set up here. The question is, though, the asset that I want to use, the activity plaza, is unfortunately locked, and we would require 120 level 5 EU density business buildings. So I'm taking the executive action of finding my latest autosave. I'm going to go into map options, and I'm going to unlock all. And this still keeps the map tiles locked, but this will allow us to access all the signature buildings, especially those that I've been downloading off PDX mods. A lot of those are also locked, which is unfortunate. And everything else we've got access to. We've got the maximum number of experience points. So I'm going to unlock all. I'm going to load the game, and then we'll have access to everything. And I know some of you might be a little bit disappointed in that, but I think it's for the best. Okay, so I've prepped the area. I've removed the trees. I've pushed the land back just a little bit so that we've got a little bit more space to work with. And I have changed my mind. I really like the look of this auto center. Now, I know this probably isn't the most ideal place to be putting a car showroom, but I just love the facade of this building. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. And I think this will look pretty cool as you come out of the high-speed station. I would love to be able to change what this sells. I think it's stuck on selling vehicles, but I'm thinking if we align this up with the road there, I think that's a good spot. And we'll keep the trees at the front. I think that's quite nice. And then we'll bring that across just a little bit. Pop that down. We'll have to turn this into a bridge here so that we've got access underneath the road, underneath the rail, and then we can bring in road coming off this little parking road over here. And yeah, that looks pretty interesting. Now, I'm not a big fan of the red color. Maybe we go for a yellow. Yeah, I think that might be interesting. Or yeah, I think the yellow or the orange might be quite a nice look. Go for like a burnt orange maybe. Yeah, as you come out and you see that, all the billboards on the back don't really make sense because no one can see these, but we can use the Better Bulldozer tool to remove those. And yeah, that looks really interesting. We will need to bring a little alley road to the front here because it, for some reason, needs to be connected right at the front. And that should receive power and water and be happy. But yeah, I could imagine this could be some sort of TV studio, something that doesn't necessarily need a lot of access because it's not that easy to get across what is a main road and these tram tracks. But yeah, I like the look of that. Talking about access for pedestrians, I would love to add a pedestrian bridge. I downloaded these little simple overpasses. I think these are quite nice. There's a really wide one here. And I think we could pop that down somewhere in here so that people do have the choice to come over the road if they want to. And we do need to connect that up with a path over here as well. We'll just turn off all the snapping for now, and then we could even just connect that up using one of these curvy paths here. And interestingly, it doesn't want to connect to the road, I think because it's one giant super node there. Now, I'm not sure if these work. These are pretty new to me at least. So we'll have to wait and see if anyone actually uses them. Just want to remove some of these trees so that people can actually use the path and not get slammed in the face with some leaves. But yeah, we've got access on this side as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of concrete so that people can actually walk on the pavement and not have to worry about walking on the grass. And we need to change that into pavement color, and that looks quite nice. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see if anyone actually uses it. We've got this central pillar which can be added, but it's not needed at this location. We can have a look at the route tool, and I can see that people are already starting to use it. Fantastic. Okay, so that looks really good there. I think I'd like to add another one of these pedestrian crossings on this side of the road. Let's have a look. It's kind of difficult with this train track right there, and some of these snapping tools are not in the right place, but I think we've got it. Okay, let's use the 6-lane version. It's a little bit smaller, and I think that will fit there. I can see there's lots of people walking about in that section. Let's pop that down there. Let's clean up some of these trees, and I think we can extend this little space underneath the train track into a little bit of a pedestrian area so that people can get to the football field a little bit easier. I think that might be quite nice. Okay, I think that path through here is really nice. We got it connected up to this little footbridge that goes over. Got a little bit of an entrance there. A lot of people are just going across the tram tracks here. We could put another pedestrian bridge in, but I don't think it's necessary. We don't have too much tram traffic. And if people don't want to use the footbridge, they can always go across here, and there is a pedestrian crossing over here. Sometimes it's not easy to go up the steps, so I fully understand that. But yeah, that's really nice. Over here, we've got a little bit of a gap, and I think we could put a park in there, but I'd rather just keep the park away from this main junction. It's not very nice to kind of hang around where there's traffic. So if we go into Find It, I've set my filter up so that it's going to be looking for a width of 3, and I think we can go as deep as 4. And I've set up my hotkey to be the tab, and I think we could get something in here. It might be a little bit tight with the 4 deep. We could define this as commercial, and we could see if something fits in here. And this is a pretty interesting asset. I don't think I've seen this one before. This is from the Southwest asset pack. We got a little Fatty Bites takeaway food restaurant sit down place. That's really nice. I do think though the color scheme is a little bit odd with that dark brown on the side here. I wonder if we can change that to just something a little bit lighter like that. That might be quite nice. I think that's the roof. Oh no, that's the little archways, and this is something else. I can't see what that's changing. Oh, the wood. We'll leave that as it is. Yeah, I quite like the look of that, and we could even extend out the surfaces so that it fills in this area really nicely. That's quite good, that. And it feels like something that they would build next to a train track. It's kind of low density. If there was ever going to be any extra work needed on this train track, they could more than likely kind of purchase this lot, and it's not going to cost them too much. We do have a little bit of overlap with the footpath, but that's okay. And some really weird stuff happening here with this ground, and I don't know if we can fix that using any of our terrain tools. I'm going to set that down really, really low and see if we can push that around. No, that's not working. Let's try node controller. Sometimes you just need to fix it a little bit like that, and that seems to have done something. Let's fix this over here. Let's make that a slope, shall we? And we've got an autosave happening, but it seems to have fixed it. We can just grab a surface and make that path look like it connects. And I think it's one of these two here, isn't it? It's the pavement surface. And we can bring that across up to that little pedestrian crossing there. And it's not exactly the same color, but it works for me. Now, I'm not a fan of the way that we've got some of this underneath the earth kind of clipping through. So I think if I set the height to be the same as that node, that fixes it. And that's really nice. I feel like that might be the place where people grab something to eat before heading into the stadium. Something casual, in case you've got, 5 minutes. Okay, that's really nice. Let's have a look at the ground around here. I think we got a little bit of a hill there, but we do have a little bit of space there. In terms of zoning, there's a little bit of a gap. We got another 3x4, but we do have a lot of noise around here. Do we want to put in something a little bit bigger? I'm thinking, again, let's just pop into find it. I think that actually will do. And this is a low rent apartments. I think this is actually one of the vanilla ones. I quite like the look of that, and we could even align the color scheme. So let's bring that down. Maybe we've got to swish that over to the blues, the greens a little bit. I think that should do. And some people get a little bit of a sneak peek of the game. I quite like that. Now, question is, do we have another building along here? We could go maybe 2 deep. To be honest, we could use these USA Southwestern medium density row homes. These are 1x2, and we might get a nice little row of homes just along here. I won't push it too far, maybe just up to the end of that little car parking segment. And I think that might look really, really nice there. Something a little bit more subtle and doesn't take too much space. Yeah, that looks quite good. Although it has removed the parking because these do come with garages. You know what? I might mix it up and put in this new zone that I found, the EU Baroque Old Town. Now, is this really suitable for this area? I'm not sure yet, but I doubt it will have any vehicle access and we'll be able to keep all that parking here. And it also brings in a little bit of that old style charm that Sunny Isle is known for into a more modern area. And I think you could even imagine this is an old barn or an old building that was here before everything else, and it managed to survive all this development. I do, however, want to upgrade this roof color if possible. And I think that looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit brighter. Let me see if I can find one that we've used before. What I'd like to find is one of these legacy buildings. Yeah, I really like the color of that. Let's bring that in and add that into that field. I think that might look a little bit nicer. Oh yeah, instantly. That's a lot better. Not too bright. And that's a really nice look there. We got a little bit of a gap beside here. I've got some of these little car parking assets from PDX Mod Store. The 1x3. I think that will go quite well here. And that adds a little bit of parking to that large residential building. And it adds this little access point here, which we could use some of the vanilla decals. Let's go into our parking decals. And this is the one I want. This is one of the little vanilla ones. And let's turn off snapping. I didn't even realize you could snap decals to the roads. And I think that could go in here. It looks like it's having a bit of trouble. Let's make sure that we've got it stood up properly. There we go. It's a nice little detail. Not necessary, but I think it adds a lot of character to the area. I did a little bit of detailing, and I think this looks interesting. I mean, it's not my finest work, I do admit, and it does look a lot better with this lighting on this angle, doesn't it? But I think it works. We've got people coming over here, crossing over the bridge, heading over to the main train station. Lots of people waiting for taxis over here. I really do need to put down some more taxi depots. I've also noticed we've got a bunch of these ad spots along here, so perhaps what we could do is maybe get some custom billboards created for Sunny Isle. I'll have to see what size template we'll need for that, but I think that might be quite a nice addition here. We could be advertising other parts of the island, or maybe some of the businesses in the island. But yeah, this is okay. I used a little bit of the terrain brush, made this area a little bit more arid, a little bit more dry. And then as you come around here, we've got that little restaurant, Fatty Bites. And then we've got this nice little walkway area. And I did make this extra wide. I was thinking about on match day, how many people will be coming and going from this asset. I would love if this asset actually had matches so that we could have people coming and going out. And I think realistic trips mod allows that to happen, but I'm trying to keep my mod set as minimal as possible. I think this is pretty cool. And I did go ahead and detail this little corner here. Extended the park area around the hotel. I think that looks really nice. We could recolor that hotel. I think we'll go ahead and maybe just reduce that vibrancy down just a little bit, and we'll have to figure out which one of these it is. Okay, so that's the white channel. This is the one here. So what should we go for? A nice bluish color? That might be a little bit different. And then at the top, let's go for the pink. I think that looks quite nice. That looks quite interesting, and it kind of matches up with the colors of the stadium. So I do want to make sure that people living in this area have somewhere to go to school as well. I really like the look of these French primary school assets from PDX Mod Store. And we can see we've got a little bit of an angled section there, which looks a little bit like it's following the length of the road, or the angle of the road. Now, we've got a really good vista here, which I think is worth keeping. So let's line it up around about there. This is quite rural looking, but I think for a school, it's suitable because you do need lots of space for the kids to play. And I also like to think maybe it has a special relationship with the stadium, and people can go there and exercise. We have a couple of upgrades, as Scunny always provides us with the goods. So this is the school extension wing, and that just adds a bit more capacity into the building, makes it look a little bit more built out. We also have the improved playground and another classroom, which I think is definitely worth adding on as well. And it adds that little cover section at the top there. And this is such a beautiful, stunning asset. I think this is fantastic. Beside it, we can put a little bit of a car park, I think. There we go, a little bit of protection from that main road, and I think that's quite nice. We're already starting to see a few people using the car park, and we've got this little Japanese grower ball here, which I think fits in quite nicely. It'll upgrade to something a little bit bigger, but I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so with the school in place now, I quickly want to have a look at the tram line. So I've started to draw that through here. The question is, where do we want it to go afterwards? I'm thinking it could head back to Central Station down here. I think I may leave the trams to a big mega episode because it needs a complete rework. So instead, let's just put in a stop at the end here. Is this going to play nicely though? So we put one on that side and one on this side. And I want this to be... Well, we could just go for somewhere in the middle, shall we? Somewhere there, and then another one there. And then we need another stop near the stadium, but I don't want it to be too close to the high-speed station. So I think just this little section down here will be good. Now we're going to have to turn on a little bit of anarchy, and here and there should be good. Now this is going to be a super short line. We will need to move this or extend it in the future. But I just want to set this up so that we do actually have some trams coming in. We'll just stop at one of these and then it will reverse back. Let's hit the other side there, and then we'll use the stop on the other side of this if it lets us. There we go. And then we just need to finish the line up here. And before it gets going, let's click on that. Let's have a look at the tram line itself, and it's picked one of the historical streetcars, which I'm not hating. It says that it's got no vehicles. Now, is that because we're out of vehicles? So they're currently in use, 15 out of 15. We have another tram depot down here, which I've had turned off just because we've had some backups. But let's go ahead and turn this back on. And we might actually see one of these trams spawn from here, which it would be a nightmare because this is on the other side of town. See what this looks like. This might be completely inappropriate to what we want. No, I think that's fantastic for a little shuttle. Let's just see how this goes for a few episodes, because I do have some other projects that I need to work on. But I like that. The color is a little bit funky, so let's have a look at changing that, toning it down just a little bit. What this looks like, super close. So this is by Unmaestro. You can get it on PDX mods. It is going so fast. But it'll be heading into the tram station shortly, going underneath this big interchange. It looks a little bit silly, but I love it. Now, this has turned into one of the more complex junctions in the city, but I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, so I've been distracted enough. We've got the school down, we've got the hotel, we've got the stadium. Let's go ahead and actually put some buildings down in this neighborhood. After putting down the TV movie studios in the industrial area, I think I do want to make this a broadcast building, but it could be where they broadcast live news or live sports. And to formalize that, I think I'm going to put down some of these satellite dishes. Now, I'm not sure if this is the appropriate formation, but I just thought maybe just putting a bunch of these in different directions, it's connecting up to different satellites around the world. I don't think we need to overdo it. We could just maybe have 2 or 3 on each side like this. And maybe we just put a couple on that side. Let's go for 3 again. And then let's just put 2 there. And then let's just do the one on that side. And then we can kind of create something that looks a little bit disorganized, but also planned at the same time. And I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, like I said, maybe this is where they broadcast the news. I was thinking about putting a big antennae on there, but we've got Sunny Isle Hill, which is over here, and we've got the big aerial on top of that, which is providing internet access. But we also have the observation tower, which I imagine could also be used for the TV studio. And this is where they actually film some of the TV shows that they have on the station. So we've got a whole economy within one area, which I think is quite nice, having a little bit of law. We do have to fix something. Okay, pause the game. Yes, this is it here. So I was having a look at this, and for the most part, this looks pretty good. It's driving along here, but when it reaches the end of the line, it reverses out, and you can see this vehicle doesn't actually have a driving position at the back of the vehicle. So it would require space for it to turn around at the end of the line, and at the moment we're just not providing that option for the vehicle. So we are going to have to change this vehicle, unfortunately. I think we could use this in the future when we do our big tram overhaul. I think maybe somewhere along the coast where life's a little bit slower and tourists are more likely to use it. I think people around here will probably appreciate having something a little bit more modern. So I'm going to jump into the line, and we're going to change this to the Colossal Order tram for now, and we can come back, and that should be a pretty good solution for trams reversing out. You can see it doesn't make sense to have that here right now. Also, I've been using these tram stops through here, these modern ones, but I have actually downloaded some other tram stops from PDX mods. Okay, looks like I hadn't actually added it to my playset yet, but yes, this is what I wanted to use, the Historic Tram Shelter and Stop by Trist. So we'll go ahead and add that. So these are based on shelters built in Melbourne between 1917 and 1927. So pretty cool looking asset. Tram stop. Oh, can you replace? That's interesting. I'm going to test it out. Oh, wow. Did you know that? You could just replace existing stops just by hovering over them. And it looks like they're still connected. Okay, fantastic. Wow. That is a hack that I never knew about. I'm going to do the same down here. We've got, well, this area is called Bankside. And this is kind of like the Bankside High Street where you've got a few shops. So we'll do the same. Let's replace these stops with a couple of those new historical ones. Oh, I love that feature so much. Fantastic. Okay, so we do have a bus coming through here. This is one that stops at Mallow Cove, and it comes down into the Valley commercial site, and then it goes straight into the bus station. So it's definitely worth plopping down a bus stop here as well. Now, I don't think I've got any fancy bus stops. Ooh, I do. I've got some of these from KJ. These are the London Transport for London bus stops. So let's pop a couple of these down. I think we'll place them after the junction. I prefer to do that because then they don't get caught up in traffic lights. So we'll plop one there, and then we'll put one over here as well. And then let's grab the bus line tool, and then we'll connect that up. Now that is a handy connection, which I wasn't planning on doing, but that provides a pretty good route from this backside of the neighbourhood down to the little commercial centre and onto Marlow Cove. And let's have a close look at these assets. I'm very intrigued by what these look like. So they've got a couple of ads on the side. They've got a little bit of lighting on the roof. Yeah, I really like that. It's very pretty. Now it's a little bit different to what we've used elsewhere in the city. So we might want to consider maybe doing a live stream and updating all our little bus stops to use these new bus stops. Let me know what you think about that if you'd be interested in watching that. But let's have a look at what we've put together today. We've got, as I said, Bankside High Street here. This is a little commercial corridor, which I imagine started off pretty small. It's along one of the main routes that goes around the city. And then over time, it's developed into quite a dense commercial centre with lots of people locally and passing through, making a stop. The only thing that we don't really have through here is any car parking facilities. So we might want to consider maybe putting a car park at the back of these shops here. We've got this auto garage by Grooney. This is a really nice looking asset, French style. So we have to make sure we don't block that entrance there. with the bus stop. But yeah, very, very pretty. I think I'm going to go with one of these Netherlands undercroft parking buildings. And I like to imagine maybe there's an office upstairs, or maybe some people live there. And that provides a little bit of car parking space for people visiting this area. Over here, we've taken full advantage of all our newly unlocked buildings. Now, I do think I had most of these unlocked already. We've got the livestock processing facility here. I think this could be temporary. We could always redevelop this area in the future. This is quite a low density building. But yes, of course, we've got this fantastic looking TV studios asset, which is providing films and TV shows for the island. And overall, it's all very industrial. We've got this swanky looking office asset on the corner here. I imagine this is a prized location down by the river. You've got the hills in the distance. And there's not much else you can do along here, because we did kind of paint ourselves into a corner when we built this giant highway viaduct. I can't imagine there's many people wanting to live right next to this, but it gives us a good opportunity to put a little bit of industrial, a little bit of commercial close to the city centre. Down here we've got one of these little cafe rest stops. Got our very first out of town cinema with quite a few visitors, and then through here just a little bit of commercial, and then we go into our residential area. And I've used a whole mix of assets through here. I've got some of these Salvador house packs by Debrum, very, very attractive. We got these Dutch flats by Mac Welshman, absolutely fantastic. These Riverview apartments by Venquara. And they just kind of fill out those little awkward parcels, because this isn't your stereotypical gridded city through here. This is something that you see further out from the city centre, a little bit more of a loosey-goosey grid layout with a whole mix of buildings. We've got the Oasis kitchen. Access to this is via the roundabout. This is probably where you go for a work meal or a birthday treat. And overall, you get a really good blend of low to medium density with a few modern buildings added in between. I've got one of these Smiley's Vancouver condos through here. I just chose the small one. And I think you get these little developments every now and then in these older neighborhoods with a little bit of a modern flair. And then the best place to live, in my opinion, would be along this road here, Castle Hill Street, where you've got these beautiful old homes facing the water, but with Sunny Isle focusing on accessibility, especially to these nature spots. We've put this little boardwalk down here, and we already have quite a few people using it. And it's really nice. You can kind of take a little scenic walk along the water without having to listen to traffic on the road. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this area looks, along with the new train station, which I think is a great addition. Let's have a look at the population. So we're looking at around about 2,500 people, which is a nice number to see, especially since we did lose quite a lot of people in a previous episode when we introduced the metro system. But the population is growing, the city is growing. I can see more of these farms being developed in the future. Let me know what you think you would want to see in these areas on the outskirts of the city. But next time, I do want to have a look at getting this airport in. I think it's time that we actually made it easy to get to Sunny Isle by air and not just by train or by boat. And with that, Sunny Isle has pushed further into the island than ever before. By moving the farmland, we've opened up valuable developable land, a new neighbourhood to make up the city, including a new stadium, all beside the high-speed rail hub. I was a little bit worried that a stadium build would turn into a wasteland, a big empty space with car parks, a few fast food places and not much else. But this has become one of the better connected parts of the city, and hopefully it feels like somewhere that works beyond match day. I'd love to know what you think. Would you have gone for something a little bit more glamorous? Or does this low-key version feel right for Sunny Isle? Let me know in the comments. And as always, take care and goodbye.